Witches, it's Luna the Zen Witch here, realizing at the end of a live stream that I have not shot a video for Friday yet. So we get to shoot an unboxing of an Oracle deck, and I'm excited about this because I know everybody that shoots these kind of videos says this. I'm excited about this, but I am, because this is something I've never used before. Fin de Siecle Kipper fortune-telling deck by Ciro Marchetti. And I got these a while back, at least a month ago, but I have not broken into them at all. In his Fin de Siecle deck, let's see, situated in Victorian England, Ciro Marchetti has created the contemporary heir to the Kipper tradition. With 3 supplemental cards, the deck represents human experiences across all echelons of society. Card meanings are provided by 3 expert Kipper readers. Includes 39 cards and 83-page illustrated guidebook. These cards can be combined with the Gilded Reverie Lenormand or used interactively with the Orasma app. What's that? I don't know what that is. Okay. U.S. Game Systems. Here we go. And look at this lovely box. Let's get the satisfaction. Yeah, that wasn't so good. Wait. Snap. I love it. Okay. And look at the nice foil, beautiful presentation. And as usual, here's a nice little book. As usual, Ciro Marchetti has artwork that is absolutely stunning, very brilliant, rich colors. This deck is on shiny stock with looky, look at the edges. It's beautiful. All right, let's zoom in. Okay, rearrange the furniture, Luna. You know me, you guys. All right. I think I'm gonna, let's go in a little bit more. All right. Here we go. Here are the backs. So we have a jester and this checkerboard design with a beautiful, lyrical, sinuous border on that. And again, those, look at that. Oh. Isn't that exciting? All right, here we go. Main male. Now, I have not ever used a Kipper tradition. I found out there was a thing called Kipper when I ran across this deck. So, first experience here. Main male. Main female. And you can see the Victorian style, the high-waisted dresses, Victorian-looking furniture. Marriage. Courtship. Yes, please snap in for me. I hope these are focusing well for you. Courtship, mature man. Mature woman. Why does the man look more mature than the woman? Why can't we just draw older women and not make them look beautiful and young? Please, please. Message. So we see a letter, an envelope being opened, a drawer with stationery. We see a pen and inkwell and a telephone, so any kind of communication is covered there. False person. We see a man wearing a mask and a woman holding a fan to cover her face. Change. I like these. I like these because it says change rather than, in Lenormand, and I'm not saying better or worse, I'm just comparing. You have things like the stork that can talk about change. Crossroads or path that can, lots of different things that can talk about change. This one just says straight up change. So I kind of like that slap in the face obviousness there. Journey, a train station and luggage. Sudden wealth with the slot machine. for instance, well, I'm thinking of Carrot cards now. Carrot talks about wealth, and apples talk about a windfall, different kinds of wealth. This is just sudden wealth. Then we have a privileged lady and a wealthy man. Message of concern. Lovers. A statue, and we have doves. Thoughts. I can't wait to do some readings. Gift. Child. Coffin. House. Family room. Official person. Lots of people in this deck. Lenormand, you get man, woman. That's it. You get like the rider. That's it. It shows a person, but it's more about, someone arriving, someone going somewhere, that kind of vibe. But there's a lot of people in this deck. Official person, courthouse. I like the way official person is. Of course, male. Courthouse. Thief. High honor. Great fortune. Unexpected income. Expectation. Of course, it's the woman that's sitting and waiting. Imprisonment. Judication. So we already have we have a courthouse, but then we have judication as well. I'm going to set that aside because I want to look at the difference between the two. Sorry. Bad health. Ouch. Despair. Concern. Occupation. Pathway. Distant horizons. Poverty. Toil and labor. Community. Okay, so we have a bad health card, but we don't have a good health card. All right, judication, and what was the other? Courthouse. House, official person, courthouse. So that shows like the lawyer type, and then judication means a judgment being made. So, wait. 23. So 23 and 30. Let's look at the book. (2016) is the copyright on this. Introduction by Ciro Marchetti, From Biedermeier to Victoria. All right, so he goes on this long thing just in the introduction. I'm not going to read this. Maybe I will read this. In July of 2015, while in Berlin for a few days, I met with Johannes Fiebig from the publishing house AGM Urani, Königsfurt Urania, A.G. Muller. We spent a few hours in a charming rooftop restaurant in what had been until recently communist East Berlin. We discussed various aspects of cartomancy publishing. We also exchanged some gifts, including various decks. One of his gifts to me was a copy of the original version of the Kipper. Johannes asked if I would be interested in producing an updated version of this deck. Apparently it was a cherished system with a history and following, principally in its native Germany, but was in decline in terms of current use and popularity. This same publisher had also released the German edition of my Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck and its companion book. Johannes felt that Kipper might benefit from a similar approach of redesign and style. Projects of this nature require a significant investment of time and effort. The public response to the finished item can be unpredictable, especially when it involves changes to something people are used to or familiar with. I was not enthusiastic about such a commitment, and so I initially declined. Nevertheless, during the next few days and my travels back to Barcelona, where I was spending the summer, I had a lot of spare time as well as the gifted Kipper deck on my hands. If only for casual curiosity, I looked through various cards with a little more attention. As I had done with previous projects, I used these initial viewings as a test. I took advantage of my lack of knowledge of the cards to imagine without preconceived ideas or bias what they might mean. In the case of this Kipper deck, the challenge was even more authentic as the titles were only in German, which I could not read. Unlike Ciro and Lenormand, there were no swords, knights, kings, or magicians, nor any snakes, mice, dogs, or storks to provide even basic clues. The Kipper deck is comprised mainly of people in various poses, a selection of nondescript buildings, and lots of glaring wallpaper patterns everywhere. Oh my, this exercise resulted in my conclusion that these images were not particularly effective. With the possible exception of the coffin card, the others were unclear in their symbolism. There seemed no visual rationale, they spelled it rational, needs an E at the end, that supported their intended meanings. Even the poses in such cards as 32 and 33 while certainly more dramatic, were nevertheless inscrutable to me. Were the men in these examples being depicted as troubled, experiencing headaches, probably from seeing too much of that glaring wallpaper, or simply seated and resting? Similarly, with so many other cards, the males and females, their facial expressions and poses did not convincingly project the varying personalities and roles that the cards are intended to represent. To me, the figures gave no clue as to the meanings that have been associated with them by Kipper readers. No disrespect intended to the deceased illustrator of these original images, but as a professional graphic designer throughout my career in marketing and advertising, I have always worked with imagery as a tool to project and communicate as efficiently as possible. From this perspective, I initially found the original Kipper to be lacking. But with that said, I can still appreciate, as I did when working on the Lenormand project, that this doesn't diminish its effectiveness as a divination tool in the hands of a reader. Once their meanings are understood and a reader becomes familiar with them, then the confusion diminishes. Indeed, as with both Tarot and Lenormand, older traditional and classical decks enjoy a reverence despite their objective flaws. In fact, subjectively, it adds to their charm and provides a nostalgic connection to the past, along with the stamp of approval of having stood the test of time and use. To encroach on that perspective with any new take on them, any new take on a theme is guaranteed to be met with mixed reactions, hence my initial hesitation to take on this project. But I continued to be intrigued. I discussed the idea with my friends at US Game Systems, my American publisher, and they were unanimous in their encouragement. I took advantage of a trip to Munich a month later to visit museums, castles, and generally embrace the environment in which the original deck was set. This was also an opportunity to share time with a German friend of mine, Morvena, who is also a reader of Kipper and had the first opportunity to see the cards in action. By now, I was impressed by the subtlety that the deck could provide and decided to take on the challenge of producing my own version of it. After more thought, I felt there was indeed an opportunity to provide a fresh face, literally, to these characters from the past, and in doing so, provide a more compelling set of imagery to a new audience. But to achieve this in the way that was beginning to formulate itself in my mind required a change of setting. So now he talks about going to the fin de siècle. I've moved the location from the original Bavarian setting to that of Victorian Britain. Several reasons for this, We're not going to go through all of this introduction because now it's getting lengthy. Why Kipper by Fortune Buchholtz. How I read the Kipper. Overall, I see Ciro's Kipper as a fun, complex 19th century novel. Like a Dickens work, it's replete with adventure, travels, and personalities. A work touched with nostalgia, romance, social life, and a sense of drama. Plus fainting. The novelistic feel of the deck gives rise to elaborate, engaging storylines with rich cause and effect. Pun intended. If you have any Lenormand experience, you'll slip into the Kipper like a silk glove. That is certainly my experience and is part of what makes reading Kipper such a pleasure. The reading style shares many common points with Lenormand. Generally, I read Kipper in lines of 5, squares of 9, stars of 13, and the Grand Tableau with houses, as with the Lenormand. As in Lenormand, there are 36 numbered cards based in 19th century daily life. Okay, wait a minute. Some points of difference, however, exist. For example, the false person, card 8, can cause a good card to become its opposite when next to it. Cards can have a slightly different sense when in front of a significator than when behind it or above as opposed to below. The images have a little more power than in Lenormand, but still not as much in contemporary tarot. Okay. Card meanings, basic core meanings. Okay. Note, the writer's initials are indicated at the end of each interpretation. So we have Fortune Buchholtz, Stella Waldvogel, Susanne Zitzi, and Ciro Marchetti are the ones that give the descriptions. All right, we're going to do a line, and then we're going to just jump in and read and look things up, because the proof of the pudding is in the eating, as they say. Let's give them a shuffle, and then let's get our charcoal lit. Ooh, wow, that's a stiff deck. Oof. I expected that to shuffle sweet and easy, and it did not. All right, hold on. Let's get our charcoal lit. Come on. Can't find the fire. You can't see anything I'm doing. Sorry for the dead air. I'm lighting my charcoal. All right. I wish I could preset the zoom ins and zoom outs, but I can't. All right. While we're waiting for that, let me try to give this another shuffle. They're already telling me they want me to do spread and pull. Wow. That's wacky. I mean, they're kind of thickish cards, if you could see. But when you're dealing with such a small number of them, I mean, they do all right in the beginning, and then they just kind of go as a clump at the end. And, of course, this makes me want to break them in. But they're not easy. No, not easy to shuffle that way. We're going to shuffle them this way, and then we're going to spread and pull. All right, question. Let's focus on a question. Well, first of all, let's pull out a little bit. There we go. Ancestors and allies, guides and guardians, please come bring your presence here. I open my mind to you. Bring clarity to me. Clarity to my mind and words to my lips so that I can relay messages that are useful, intuitive, accurate, insightful, and helpful for my viewers. Oops. I offer you the fire of Azrael to bring the power of divination to this deck. May I use it to its best effect. Please be a true tool of divination. With fire and air, I purify and charge you with water and earth. I bless and make you whole. So mote it be. All right. What are we asking? I would like to know the next 6 months, so this goes through spring and summer, or close to the end of summer, about, all right, I'm changing already. I'm going to do, wait a minute. I want to see if they suggest ways to approach readings here. Spreads, triple pyramid spread. Obstacles, best possible course of action and outcome. Cards in the pyramid are dealt face up. The surprise cards are dealt face down. Then you take surprise cards. Putting it all in context. Susanne's SOS spread, developed for urgent matters and questions. I've created it for emergency cases. And we have 8 cards for that one. Okay. I think, I don't want to go this far. I think I'm going to take 3 groups of 3 and do, all right, I'm doing 9. I'm just going to do 9 in a grid. All right. And yes, we're going to spread and pull 9 cards, and I want to ask over the next 6 months about the pandemic. And yes, this is, I'm not using the emergency spread. I'm going to use the grid of 9, but I want to ask about the pandemic and in terms of the USA, in terms of the U.S. I'm trying to narrow it a little bit. All right. Just going to start pulling. I'm not going to think. All right. What we call flying by the seat of our pants. All righty. I'm going to shove these under here a little bit. I think I need to zoom out just a little bit more. I want you to see the pictures, but okay. Tell me about what happens with pandemic and coronavirus as we go through the next 6 months. So we have message of concern, community, occupation, toil and labor, despair, privileged lady, pathways, sudden wealth, and false person. All right, central card here is despair. So we've got a lot more heartache to go. That's all there is to it. It ain't over. And I think I'm looking at, closer in, farther out, or we could spread out this way. Let's just work our way through it. Message of concern next to community. Yes, there's certainly a lot of concern that needs to go out to the community and coming from the community. Occupation, there's issues about jobs in the community and people getting back to work. We're also can be talking here about people that are working for the community, like the nurses and doctors and those that are distributing the vaccine. All right, message of concern, toil and labor. So again, we've got a lot of work to get through. Let me see here. I'm looking that despair comes underneath the community. And under occupation, we have privileged lady. Okay. Hold on. Going to see me wrestle my way through this because this is a whole different thing. All right, let's read the lines like this. Well, I read that one across. Toil and labor, despair, privileged lady. So we've got a lot of work that needs to be done. We just need to buckle down and get through the hard part and get through the despair of it, that the work that we're doing is not going to pay off right away. So if we kind of follow it like this, community, occupation, we get to work and have the professionals working with us, but there's going to be a lot of hard work and still no joy by the time we get to the middle of this 6 months. And then we've got privileged lady here. And then pathway, sudden wealth, false. Yeah, I'm going to take another card on that one, but let me look at these first. Pathway, sudden wealth, false person. All right, let's start looking up some things. Let's look up privileged lady first of all. That's where we got stuck. Actually, let's start at the beginning. Another of Kipper's challenging cards, the negative counterpart to message card 7. Here we see a lady standing in front of her writing desk receiving the mail. Her face registers surprise and her hand leaps to her heart in dismay. Disappointing news, a setback, definitely not what you want to hear. Can even be a small crisis or quarrel, unless with the false person card, which is down here. In which case it was all a misunderstanding, but they're not connected with each other. They're opposite. Part of this line. You should reconsider your wishes and goals. This card warns you against disillusions, sad news, or inconvenient truth. This may concern professional or partnership in professional or money matters. Try to do better in the future. News arrives, it's a little depressing. Alternately, it can be a minor illness, a weakness. The closer this card is to the significator, the sooner this occurs. I didn't pick a significator. All right. But see, that would be in a ground tableau. What exactly the message might be relating to could be indicated by adjacent cards. Well, yeah, I mean, in the community, message of concern, community. It's funny that the ill health card didn't come up, but that would be the significator. So like if you're doing a ground tableau and you're asking about that specific question, you can identify a card ahead of time saying this is going to be the significator of the question, like ill health, bad health card. And then the ones around it you read out from there. I mean, you do that in Lenormand anyway. Let's look at privileged lady. I mean, it's weird looking up meanings because they're pretty explanatory just by their titles. We meet the privileged lady, the epitome of wealth, ease, youth, health, beauty, charm, as she strolls across the wide lawn past the orchid house. Lavishly dressed in the latest fashion, she gives us the relaxed look of a lady used to admiration. This card stands for fun, creativity, luxury, the good life, and all beautiful things. She can also be the best friend of the main female. She's the female counterpart of the wealthy man. But with false person, she can be a mean girl capable of snobbery, vanity, disdain, and cluelessness. All right, right there by the false person. Okay. I'm looking at this juxtaposition of these two. It's like with the community, we've got despair that vaccines and help aren't getting out to the community. But the occupation here, we've got some part of the population that is enjoying life as they usually do. And then we've got false person down here. Wow. Okay, who is this privileged lady? All right. Marriage. All right, well, if we don't look at it literally, relationship, sponsor, friendship, there's no significant meaning to the depiction of cherry blossoms other than to suggest a spring wedding. Okay, wait. This is a positive card depicting an idyllic wedding in a fairy tale country. It stands for not only a literal wedding when combined with judication and lovers, but any kind of close contractual relationship such as a business partnership or joint venture. Also intimate friendship. So it is about just relationship. I don't understand those two. All right. Let's get away from all the people and look at the bottom line. Pathway. Long road ahead, sometimes referred to as 2 years patience. It means a lot needs to be done or something that will take a long time. So here we go. Message of concern, toil and labor, something that will take a long time. So we're not getting anywhere, anything close to fast. Community despair, sudden wealth. Okay, so that says that we're definitely getting relief money, and I'm thinking beyond what's being discussed now. Your lucky number, blah, blah, blah. If this card is close to a significator, means a large sum. But if with false person, your luck could turn sour and result in a loss. Okay. Sudden wealth announces success, affluence, gain, or profit. Also shows a secure partnership. This is money you don't have to work for. All right. So that's pretty explanatory, but something's going to take a long time, and we have sudden wealth. And then false person. Concern. Okay, that to me is the GOP in Congress, that there are these false people that are now suddenly concerned about spending. Sudden wealth. They don't want anybody else to have it except them. I still don't understand these two. I mean, it does say that there are privileged people that are going to be carrying about their lives and having nice weddings in the summer, and those are the ones, and with false person there, that can cause things to go sour in the summer, and we can end up with more, with another surge. I'm going to replace that with this message, despair message. Okay. So just news. There's more information to come out of this. There's more study to be done. They just poured several $1 billion into the global vaccination effort, the global vaccine research. Biden just requested $4 billion to go flowing there. Trump pulled us out of it, and so we were not participating in helping this pandemic be over with. But now there's money flowing in there. So message here can talk about information coming out of that. And maybe that information allows us to enjoy a little bit of, after this despair, it helps us enjoy a little bit. But then we've got pathway here saying things take a long time. Maybe we get a little bit of a respite in the summer. False person. We see a sly and evasive woman hiding her real expression behind her Spanish fan. At the side of the marble hall lurks a mysterious and somewhat sinister man in a fancy dress mask. Frenemies. What are they hiding? Drama kings and queens, lovers of trouble, manipulators, frenemies, however you want to phrase it, watch out. This card has the power to turn beneficial cards to their opposite when next to them. All right, so I'm saying here in the summer when we have people going out and exercising their privilege and having nice spring weddings and stuff, it goes south and we end up with a surge. Put this over here. Message of concern, something to be concerned about for sure. But this is also Congress talking about being concerned about spending money. Now let's see if we can see something this way. Message of concern, despair, false person. All right, yeah. Pathway, despair, occupation. I mean, the central card being despair, we just run into it over and over and over again. Community, despair, sudden wealth. So money definitely gets shaken loose. A lot of money gets poured into community, gets poured into research, gets given directly to people. But this false person and concern here talks about just the wrangling and the negative fallout that comes from the government attempting to help people. Huh. All right. What did you think of that? I'm not going to go any further. I mean, they definitely bear working with. I like them. I think I like them better than Lenormand. And the thing that you don't get in the Kippers here that you get in the Lenormand is, with Lenormand, they really do read like a sentence, that each of them is just a fragment and they really affect each other so much. These seem to be a little more one step closer to Tarot. These feel like they are between Lenormand and Tarot. Fascinating. I mean, I'm going to keep working with them. There's no doubt about it. Whoa. All right. Let's see what... I don't have a question in mind, but the cards are flying out. Unexpected income, expectation, child. Message of concern, false person. Maybe this is talking about the fact that they're now giving money for children, that there's going to be new tax credits for couples that have children, for people that are raising children. They're going to get like $3,000 per year, so this tax credit of $3,000 per year for each child. So that's a huge amount of relief. Again, we've got these false people that are going to be negative about that and don't want to let it happen. All right, that's what I'm getting there, even though I didn't ask a question, but it kind of comes on the heels of the pandemic question. Just more information. Interesting. Okay, well, I hope you liked that. This is a shorter video than usual because it's a short deck. But I like it. I really do like Ciro Marchetti's artwork. It's very rich. It's very lovely, and he does show expressions on their faces. So I'm digging it. I'm digging it. This may show up in some live streams. We'll have to see. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe and share. Consider sending me a donation. I am a priestess with a begging bowl. This is the job that I do, and I rely on you. So nothing is too small. Send me $1 or $2. I've got this little rhyming thing going on. Hoot boopy doo. Okay. I'm here on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for various unboxings and live streams. Please come and hang out with us. Also down below is a place where you can DM me if you are interested in having a personal reading from me. Let's hook up. All right, you guys. I'll see you next time. Till then, this is TheZenWitch. Blessed be.